10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We have ignition.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-0. We are rejoining our shuttle crew in low Earth orbit, docked to our, hopefully, our prospective interplanetary vehicle. We're going to be making some changes here, because it turns out the Remote Tech Guidance Core has unlimited tonnage and uses way less power, so we actually don't need all of these power-hungry cores, which we will just unceremoniously eject into low Earth orbit. But we had planned on planting a bomb on there and exploding them, but guess not today is the lesson learned. So we'll refuel our RCS pack and go grab our new core, which is just a little too big to fit in our pocket. So we're going to be trying to hop, skip, and jump place this thing around, which is less than ideal, but if you plan it right, is pretty easy to get done. And so I think that's going to be our final installation point. Doesn't look too terrible, and it gets the avionics on board the vessel, which is what we needed to do. So now a quick check on our greenhouse function. I think the configs might be a little off, because as you can see by any of those things, well, the thing on the screen currently, that we are actually not increasing our food. It's sitting at dead nothing, which is fine. We have 3 Kerbals on board, but 4 greenhouses. We should be seeing some surplus, and we are seeing quite a drain in our water, which is anticipated. So it is telling me somewhat that it's working, that we're not depleting more resources than we are, and we've definitely drained a whole lot of water, which we intend to make up for by bringing up some water recyclers here at some point. So this crew, having finished their work, and unfortunately me, who took the low lunar orbit contract and not the low Earth orbit contract, will not be getting paid for this flight, which is a huge boon to the space program. A very close flyby of our new buddy there, as we overshoot, lowering our periapsis by quite a bit. But we'll vent off some of our excess fuels here as we'll make our approach to the atmosphere. We're just going to get a nice little image here of our shuttle in orbit doing its shuttle-y things as we wait to just kind of hit Atmo, and we'll bring ourselves out of time warp and probably get our nose pointed into the air. It would be the more ideal situation. We'll shift our remaining fuel aft to act as ballast so that we can hopefully keep our nose up during this entry procedure, which actually goes pretty smoothly. We've done a lot of shuttle flights recently, so I like to think that I'm getting a decent amount of practice. Our ablative thrusters have ablated away. Our, I don't know, ablative internal cargo bearing strut has mysteriously also ablated away while being completely not exposed to outside air. And there we are, passing over the Gulf of California and realizing we do not have the requisite speed to make it all the way to Florida. Again, it's getting this approach right that is the most difficult part of flying a space shuttle, especially just trying to, eyeball it. So we're going to hand the ball over to atmospheric autopilot as we start to deflect north to our alternate landing zone somewhere outside of New Orleans. And we absolutely do have the speed to touch dirt this time. So thankfully, no more, nautical SKS space shuttles. As we pick a runway and decide to make final descent, I will turn you over to Old Me for the rest of this. And start to bleed off speed and align ourselves for one runway correction. Apparently it was hail damage. Interesting. Yeah, we're going to pull some G loading on this landing and approach, but it is what it is. God, our roll control is interesting. No. Standard control, roll, control, deflect. Let's jump that up to about 34. Yes, now we got some roll. And pitch, as always. Alright, chat, I'm very sorry. As long as the levee is dry, there's copious quantity of whiskey and rye. Was the aircraft made by Chevy? How's it going, Sunder? Good to see you, buddy. Minimum fuel so it could make the takeoff. Yeah. Make it as light as possible. Alright, let's start to get angled in here. I do want to dump as much of this toxic ass fuel as possible, because reasons. Yeah, roll control still not great. We should probably let y'all do some roll authority. I know it's counterintuitive. Nose is dropping 197 meters per second. We're too slow. Pick up some speed. Alright, I'm sorry, chat. I have to concentrate now, or this is going to end very badly. So I have to just tell myself, don't look at chat, don't get thirsty. Which one's the runway, the dark part or the light part? We're going to shoot for the light part. Yeah, we're coming in pretty slow. This is going to bleed off a bit. Lots and lots and lots of pitch authority. Thankfully, I guess. Current altitude 1.6 kilometers. Can we make it there? Yeah, 220 meters per second across the ground. Gear out. Let's just invite the drag. That nose into it a little. We're going to be a little fast on this approach, actually. No, we're not. That was a dumb statement, Crash. So everyone awake here in whatever town this is outside of New Orleans gets treated to a very delightful show of a shuttle making a very slow approach to their local runway. Oh, yeah, you don't like that at all, do you? Are these even armed? Arm. Arm, drag chutes ready. Here we go. Yeah, we are a little fast. That was not actually all that. Whoa, 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 buddy. Keep that in check. You know, we're going to fly right past it. We need to get this on the ground. 120 meters up, 175 across the ground. Watch that vertical speed. Not quite low enough. Let's see if we can just do this nice and gentle. -7, too fast, still 50 meters up. -4, drogue chutes, what are you doing? Okay, touchdown. Brakes, 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 brakes. Okay, we can breathe now. Less precise. Fair assessment. Brakes on, recover vessel. Yes, the crew is alive. Everyone's safe on the ground. Crew safely on the ground. It's time to start plotting out our next shuttle mission, which will be adding 2 new components to our prospective interplanetary vessel. This one is a drive plate, or a drive section adapter, I should say. We are looking at using Nervas for our next set of vehicles. So we need to make sure that this can fit tanks 3 across. 5 meters is the biggest we can fit in our shuttle bay, and that'll kind of give us a broadly adaptable drive section that we can use for our drive section. We're going to go ahead and integrate this into the shuttle bay. You can see we already have our water purifier stacked there, and then we'll just build on the drive adapter section with some additional thruster ports so that hopefully we can get a clean docking, although I do realize that at some point we probably want clean access to that central hub so that we can not have it get in the way. So we'll just include a second tug up at the top to try to balance out the mass of this thing. So hopefully docking won't be too much of a comedic tragedy. and I don't know, the whole thing will go smooth, and maybe we can actually even get it lined up or something. But we'll bring some explosives, you know, just in case. That'll take 70 some odd days to build, so we're going to go ahead and start a new project. You may recognize this as our Mars base / lunar base prototype build that we have here on Earth for training purposes. This here is our supply rover. Module rover crawler, I guess, is the more appropriate term for it. Anyway, now that we have a functional greenhouse thing, we can greatly extend the on station time of the crew by modifying one of these to carry a greenhouse part and provide some recyclability to the life support supplies that this supply rover carries. Although, quite honestly, this entire design is going to need to be completely reworked. And I didn't want to get into taking this thing too much apart on stream because I was running a little light on time, and I didn't want to mess with the leveling, especially after having gotten rid of the entire rest of the base in order to just kind of get this one crawler off of it. But we did do some size and mass comparisons, and of course, remembering that the avionics was always insufficient on these things, we're going to just slap another low draw core on here. This particular variant, while I think it's honestly the best looking of all the variants that I've created so far, has that very unnecessary parts tool bay. Also, I've added the design requirement that this thing have a docking port on both the fore and aft section, so it can be placed in between to the lab or the base core, the habitat, I should say, and some other crawler, probably a supply crawler, so that it can directly interface with the supplies carried within and kind of act as a middle part, because as you can tell, the base itself was designed to have 2 supply crawlers and a laboratory, and that fills up all the docking ports on the HAB module itself, and leaving this kind of nowhere to dock. And if we take one of those docking ports for this, then we don't have a docking port for one of the other necessary required modules. And also the fact that these crawlers were designed to detach from the base core, a supply rover and a lab rover could dock together and be a mobile research station / base. And well, it'd be nice to include one of these in that massive truck that we would be carrying along. So I don't expect this design will be the final one. We'll probably touch more on this in the next episode as we kind of try to include these design requirements. But I do say I think this actually does not look half bad. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it. And I will see all of you in the next one. So until then, see you later.